Morning.
Right. Yeah.
So you can say to your device that sounds like Panexa, you can say, hey, go to WURD 900 AM Philadelphia, and it will turn it on. I'm not sure if you knew that. It's a great app to have on your device there. Or you can check us out where it's really fun on social media. You can go to YouTube, and you can also go to Facebook Live and check us out, WURD, and you can be a part of what is promising to be a great conversation today, because one of the things we will be talking about shortly, ooh-wee, is something that always gets folk going. So whenever you throw in Barack Obama and black folk
Yes.
and people who disagree with things that he says about black folk, like defunding the police, that's like low-hanging fruit. That show will just drive itself. Once we throw it out there for you, trust me, your comments, all we have to do is read them in Facebook. So we're here today, sitting across from me, it's Bishop Dwayne David Royster.
What's going on, sir? And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly. I've made it back to Philly, Tyler. So,
Well, actually, I was being sworn in yesterday as a United States Senator representing the great state of Arizona. Yes, I am now. Please address me as Senator Mark Kelly. You know, it's funny. So I've been going by my full name for, I don't know, man, maybe 20, 25 years now.
Mhm.
And because, as AME, we go by your full name.
Okay.
That's kind of our rap. So if you were an AME preacher, everybody would know that your middle name was David.
Really?
Everybody. Because it would be like us, Dwayne David Royster.
Yeah.
Unlike our Baptist colleagues who usually go by their first two initials in the
That's
last
right.
name.
That's right.
Reverend E.P. Jones.
That's
the,
right.
the EP is for whatever you want it to be. What do UCC folk do?
They just go by your first and last name, and most of the time they just call people by their first name. I actually sign my letters and correspondence DDR. I always sign with my initials. So
All right.
I put the plus sign in front of it because that actually means that you're a bishop, and then I use my initials.
All right, cool. Well, it's funny. So, yeah, I mean, maybe one day we can have that conversation about the difference in how different church cultures address their clergy. Because I was in an interracial congregation as a student minister in seminary back in the mid '90s in Dayton, Ohio. And I never forget, I walked in. It was a Presbyterian church, and the senior pastor was a black guy. His wife was white. The associate, she was a white woman. Her husband was black. And then there was me as the youth minister, so I didn't know how I was supposed to find like a biracial girl or something to date as as a seminarian, because it was a perfectly balanced interracial church. They started that way, College Hill Presbyterian. Shout out to them. Great congregation, by the way. But I walked in, man, we're sitting in the meeting, and it started, they were like, so Bob, that was the senior pastor. And I was like, oh my God, they just called the pastor Bob. I'm like, waiting for the stuff to hit the fan. And then somebody else did it. Nobody cared. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is very different.
That is often, well, the UCC are reformed like the Presbyterian church, but I mean the black churches don't necessarily do that, but the white churches do that. So I'm, like I said, I'm plus sign DDR, or Bishop Royster, or and sometimes people call me Rev. They don't know the bishop thing, and that's fine. Yeah, I just want to do this. Hey, while we got a quick sec here, I want to shout out Bernita Francine, who celebrated her Delta versary yesterday. So just she posted on Facebook. I just wanted to give a shout out to her and acknowledge her presence here today.
Yeah, man, she's one of the great commentators on our Facebook Live feed.
Absolutely.
I mean, seriously, you really ought to check her stuff out. And shout out to all the folk on Facebook Live. So a few things on the top. First of all, I misspoke. I said that there was going to be a Tuesday night game because of COVID for the NFL. It was actually a Wednesday afternoon game. Wednesday at 3:40 p.m. was the kickoff yesterday. Props to the Steelers. I'm not a Steeler fan, but, I like the fact that they have stuck by Mike Tomlin. It's hard for a black NFL head coach to make it in the NFL. He's been there for a number of years now, through some ups and downs, but he's had mostly ups.
Mhm.
But you know, whenever you're a black coach, if you have one bad season, man, it's like you're off with your head.
Right.
You know, go ask Caldwell about that in Detroit. But they're at 11. They're 11-0 in a
Wow.
COVID season. But the fact